All right, I didn't check our YouTube from yesterday, but we're streaming right now. I'll check the YouTube.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Like a Steiner polka! German beer garden!
Yeah.
Yeah. Polka. I want to play me. I want to jam on a 1936. What do you call those things?
I don't know.
An accordion, you stupid.
You want to go on there now?
I want to play some. Oh, wow. Look at this record label. They got. I bet you if you play it backwards, it's got satanic messages on it. Okay. Hold on here.
Tell me when you're ready. I'll count us down. Let's see here. Station IDs, all. Number 31. Man.
You let Dutchie know. Dutchie, I'm telling you, the only thing I plug in is my audio cable to my computer and the turntable. Those are the ones I plug and I switch because that's what I got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I go like this. See this? MP3 player. And then I look up my theme song. The Jeff Sargent Show introduction song. Everybody's got a little theme jingle. And it's perfect. Doesn't it sound like the entrance like a Soupy Sargent show? Like all this, get a pie in the face and at the beginning of that song?
You mean the Soupy Sales Show?
No, the Soupy Sargent show. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Okay, you're not coming in on your laptop.
Well, that's because I haven't plugged it in. I'm just.
Oh, okay. I just want to.
I'm queuing up my theme music. Folder, internal memory. No, not internal memory. External card. Here we go.
This one's for punk lighting.
I heard a hint of it. All right, today, just for you, we're going to go live on Facebook. Welcome to the Jeff Sargent Show. We're about ready to hit air. Jeff is preparing. I don't know who's coming in today. I think we have a guest host. So I'm going to put my phone in the studio where you can hear the show. And you don't have to look at me. I don't know who'd want to. Besides my wife or my mom.
Now I'm having trouble plugging things in the hole. How did you... Wait a second. Yeah. Oh, wrong plug. No wonder it wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's like me
Okay,
trying
there
to
it
open
goes.
up the.
You got to put the right
studio
key to
yesterday.
make it turn, brother.
Yeah, it's like me trying to get the key in the hole.
Yeah.
Yes,
Now,
afternoon.
how did that work for you this morning? Did you have to bring your wife?
No, we're fine.
That is the weirdest thing yesterday. Yesterday was kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. And coming home to you at my house with my wife by herself with no bra on was kind of
Was she
odd.
wearing a nightgown or something?
Yeah.
She's, I'm not dressed for that, but hurry up, get here. Let's call up Dan. Oh.
And I left.
So we can't call Dan. He left his phone here. He's supposed to be getting my phone. What am I supposed to do? I sound like Jerry Seinfeld. What am I going to do? His phone's not even, my phone's not even here.
You know what Jerry Seinfeld says? This show's about nothing.
It's about nothing. It's about nothing. The show's about nothing. I go in there and my other friend's wife is there in her nightgown. What do I do?
You leave. You don't stay there.
I leave. My eyes can't stop looking through see-through material.
Hey, man, I had to go take care of my dad.
I know, man. We got a lot of responsibilities, man. You know? And people give a shit because they expect you to take out the trash or something. That's good. That's going to end right now.
Okay, I'm bringing the phone into the studio for you, Jeff, so you could F around with it.
Yeah.
Just give you something more to do.
Oh, God. Wow, $40 I could get not Fest. Last time I paid for me and my son, it's like over $500, you know, with VIP. Now it's $40 a ticket for Ozfest meets Not Fest. $40 for 40 hours of fun and mayhem. What are you doing, Dan? Oh, you know what? I got these little things right here. Cereal boxes? Where is it? Where is it in my... These things here. You wrap it around the phone. Hey, there's Brian Rourke. John Mann, David Ekman. There's, you know, the show hasn't started yet, everybody. 7 o'clock. Oh, 6:58. Oh, shit, man. We're going to go on in 2 minutes. Wait a second.
Hi, Rhonda. She's listening.
Oh, no. Oh, Rhonda. Hi, Rhonda.
Don't look at her.
I'm not supposed to see you in your 90s, Rhonda. But it's okay. We're like brother and sister, aren't we? You know, I filled Dan in about the oh Rhonda, oh Jeff, oh Jeffrey, oh Jeff. It was pretty funny. That's an inside joke we've had for about 30 years.
Yeah, and then I saw a picture you guys got married at the beach.
Yeah, that.
So what would she have? A harem? Like she's got me, she's got you.
Well, then I forgot to post our Oktoberfest with our pumpkin. I posted. I was holding a pumpkin in my arms, and there's Rhonda in her sunglasses, all bright and shiny. If you look, there's Dan. We're using Dan's phone right now because this stupid phone right here, this stupid ass phone, T-Mobile service is not. It goes off. It won't live stream here. It only did it one time. Pisses me off.
All All right, we're on. Play your intro music.
Oh, shit. Wait. I'm putting on my magic glasses to see if Brian Rourke can play guitars. And say, oh, I will. Hold on.
Put $1 in the jar.
Whoa. Okay, intro music. Can we do a count? Give me a countdown.
I just gave it to you. You weren't watching.
Oh, fuck. Okay. All right, good morning. It's Taco Tuesday on Chaotic Radio. Oh my God! And our co-host for today, Joanne Ledesma. Joanna Hot Lips Ledesma. And, of course, he's not our janitor. He is not our janitor. He is our producer. Stop. Attention to all employees of Chaotic Radio. Dan Rupp. Producer Dan is not a janitor, okay? He's not Chaotic Radio janitor. I want to make that clear. Today was the last time I took the trash out. Dan the man, producer Dan, in the engineer booth. His job is to produce and get things going here on the show. Don't make it hard for him. People unplugging things, plugging them in that they shouldn't. Okay, I'm done with that. Good morning, Dan. Joanne is here. Put your glasses on, maybe. Can you hear me now with your glasses?
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, my goodness. That was even good.
Yeah.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning. Good morning, Joanne. Thanks for picking up the slack and coming in. Because even when Dan and I are here, we still feel like we're alone with nobody.
Oh,
It's like I'm not here, and to me, it's like he's not here. It's not a good feeling. And it's hard to do, especially on a Monday.
It's Tuesday, by the way.
I know. I'm glad it's Tuesday. 2 for Tuesday.
You know how hard it is to get up and get dressed and look this good?
I know. I look that good.
Without coffee. Hint, hint.
I'm sorry. I didn't bring. I'm so selfish, man. I was thinking about myself. I was so cheap to get my coffee at McDonald's. It was pumpkin spice. I go to 7-Eleven, act like I'm going to buy something. I go in and steal the pumpkin spice creamers, and I walk out. I don't know if that's right, but, you know.
I'm still asleep. Sorry.
She's still asleep. Oh man.
Good morning, Dan. In the booth over there making us sound all pretty. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Dan.
Jeffrey, did you see the beautiful pink-orange sky driving in?
I was here. It was too dark. I got here way early.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was amazing.
Was it a beautiful sunrise?
It was. It made me, I mean, we pay a lot of money to live in California. I've lived back east before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's why I fork out all the dough. These beautiful sunrises, no tornadoes, no hurricanes, warm weather. It's going to be like
no floods.
It's going to be 96 today.
Oh, God. I don't want it to be that hot. I got to go to work after this.
And it's October.
It's okay. I'm going to have to change my costume. I can't put the layers on or the heavy makeup. I just might have to wear my lederhosen with no makeup.
So it's kind of hard to talk about rock and roll this early in the morning.
Oh, I know. Rock and roll is going to set the world on fire. Not. It looks like I got a head start. Would you like to taste this pumpkin? Do you like pumpkin? Do you like pumpkin spice? Try it.
Let's try it. No, this is 7-Eleven, McCafe. What is it?
It's McCafe. I don't eat their.
To me, coffee is like, you know, like how vampires need blood to survive.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Oh,
Two
you're
cups.
a vampire for my coffee.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'll warm up. Just give me 10 minutes.
I'll let you. You can finish that if you want. Yeah, you're definitely worth more than $2. A cup of coffee there.
Yes, I'm hope that I'm getting paid top dollar for this.
Oh yes, top dollars for everybody.
As opposed to bottom.
Dan, you're getting top dollars. Did you know that? And you don't even have to take out the trash.
Oh, thank you, Dan. Oh wow, I get coffee in an Abbey Road cup. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's rock and roll.
Yeah, she gets an Abbey Road coffee cup.
Yay.
That's because producer Dan that's what he does, man. He
That's
just
awesome.
produced that for you right now.
Yeah, I'm your waitress, your producer, your sound man.
Oh.
Make me sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I lecture for, gosh, it's been over probably 10 years, a songwriting organization, which there are many.
Yeah.
But there's one in particular that's called Songnet. That is and they have, it's run in like Pasadena, Altadena, Southern California Songwriters Association. And
Yeah.
they get together and they pitch their music. I stand on a stage and these songwriters pitch me their music, all genres, and then I give feedback and critique the music live. And at the end of every event that I do for them as a guest host and a guest screener, they offer me a free coffee cup, a Songnet coffee cup. So I probably have like 20 in my cupboard.
What is anybody going to do with that many coffee cups?
I know.
You know,
I'm the
I
same
think it's a
one.
thing. Is it with women? Is it just women or a guy? I go to guys and they got one dirty coffee cup
Yeah, no, I've
at
got
their
so
house,
many.
and then all the girls I
We
know,
don't have stirrers, but we have.
they have a collection of coffee mugs to open up a restaurant. You know, it's just like collecting those little shot glasses when you go around the world.
Yeah.
You know.
Or the spoons. When I lived in Pennsylvania, people collected those little spoons.
Yeah. Do you have a Grand Canyon coffee cup?
Actually, I do. I've got a lot of trinkets from the Sierra Nevadas because I like to do a lot of hiking.
Yeah, I noticed that, man. I remember when you were a guest on the show a few weeks ago, I was talking to you about that one mystic place in the Sierra Nevadas.
Oh my goodness! It's
with
called
the shards of
rock.
rock that shoot straight up and that look like they're from another
You know
planet.
what? It's called the Devils Postpile, and it's one of the beautiful geologic features of the Sierra Nevadas.
Geologic, that's the word I'm looking for.
And I'm surprised nobody's written a punk rock song about it because it's just so like these huge pinnacles that are just sturdy and have been there forever, and these giant columns, and they're just really like rock, like you know.
Yeah, and the water's so clear. I drink the water; it's cold and clear, even in the summertime.
I like to fish in there, but they're native. You know, they don't stock certain areas, and so they're too small to eat.
Oh,
so,
too small to eat. Yeah, depending on.
I don't eat them anyways, but
yeah, catch and release, man.
Yeah, catch and release. That's my.
That's what I do. That's what Dan does. He's caught and released all his life.
Isn't that where they have the hot springs at?
They have hot springs. You can't get in them now. When I was a kid in the 60s and 70s, you know, we'd take the 6 kids in the back of a truck and we'd go down. We'd go spend 2 weeks in the Sierra Nevadas. And at that time, you can get in the water, but people have been scalded and died, and it's got a little too hot.
Scalded and died.
Yeah, it's a little bit. See, there's a lot of punk
That's
rock
some
music
hot water.
that can go on there, down there. I think there's an earthquake fault. It's like this giant crack in the ground that you can walk through, and I mean. There's some. I think there's some really good areas to do some songwriting, especially if you're angry.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I've ever been an angry songwriter. I've just been a silly songwriter. Good morning, Lisa Stewart, and Brian Rourke. He's a good dude. He's loyal to our show.
Yeah.
I can see him with my magic glasses.
Well,
You know
good
that-
morning.
Do you remember? Do you remember Hobo Kelly?
Of course I do. She had that like beat up old washing machine that you used to pull things out of.
The washing machine. She'd go, "Hi, Mr. Inside Man, ring a ding ding," and she'd crank, pour blocks in there of like wooden blocks, and she'd. And the camera would go all like an earthquake, and toys would come out of that mask, out of the box.
Well, do you remember Sheriff John?
Oh, Sheriff John, put another candle
Yeah.
on my birthday
I'm mad at
cake.
him.
Yeah,
He never called my name.
he never called my name.
Never
either.
called my name.
I said I cried once because I missed Sheriff John, and my mom was kind of laughing at me. Then she's always
No, not you, Jeff.
I miss Sheriff John. Make it go back on TV, man. I'm sorry you woke up too late, Jeffrey.
Sheriff John and Captain Kangaroo.
Captain Kangaroo, we're going to get Mr.
Bozo.
Green Jeans in here. We're going to get Dancing Bear in here and do an interview,
Man.
even though he doesn't talk. But these Hobo Kelly magic glasses makes me see our live stream viewers on Dan's phone.
Good morning. Can they
Top
see me?
of
Good morning.
the morning to you. That's what Hobo Kelly used to say. Thank you, Lisa Stewart. Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to put these down for a minute. I'm sorry I interrupted you, Joanne. Where were we? Oh, yeah.
I
We
was
were in
catching
this.
up with you by having some coffee.
Yeah, you're waking up. My guess, I mentioned yesterday, for those who were listening yesterday, which I doubt it because you're probably all sleeping or
Yeah,
going
what
to work.
was that? My phone was pinging that you were on yesterday, but it came out in the evening sometime. I thought you were just a morning guy.
What? Wait. What do you mean? When I called you?
No. It's I'm subscribed. I like everyone else should subscribe to Chaotic Radio.
Oh, okay.
And so it was saying that you were live on the air, but it was like in the PM instead of the AM.
Wow, what's up with that, Dan?
It has to go through our censors, and I was put on timeout because I was playing copyrighted songs. So
They put him in the doghouse.
Okay, well then I guess I can put my little thumb drive away with.
No. You know what? Fuck all that.
Yeah.
You know what? I was going through some of the songs.
Did you break that horn already?
Okay, well, I paid $3, almost $4 for this sensor horn. That's all I got? What the hell? Oh, wait.
Oh, the thing came out.
Oh, it's stuck inside the... Why is it always something around here? Nothing, you know? Nothing works 100% around here. Not even a freaking horn.
And you know what? And
That's because your salary is taking all of the budget.
Yeah.
Now we fell out. Where did it go?
That's the rumor in the music industry. Oh, that sounds like it died.
Oh, gosh. You know what? Okay. It must... Okay. Hold on. I see the horn piece on the ground. Keep talking, Joanne.
Well, you know, I was putting some music together. I thought we talked a little bit about some of the rock and roll stories I've had in my career. It's always fun to talk about them instead of talk to somebody's ear about it in a party really loud. I'm thinking about writing this book with all these great stories. But I was going through some of the music, and I found this really cool piece of music. And have you ever heard a piece of music where you thought, oh, this has got to be my theme song when I walk into the room? You know, like how when George Lopez comes out, you hear Lowrider?
Oh, yeah.
well, I found one, and it's actually a band that was from my old neighborhood in San Gabriel by El Chicano called Viva Tirado.
I got it working! Man, I'm such a good fixer-upper.
So maybe I'll play a little piece of that so you can hear.
You can.
It would be my. I mean, if I had a song to choose,
You can do
Here
whatever
Comes
you want
Joanne.
today. It's all about you.
It would definitely, you know.
You're
hear the
not
music
only
and then-
not only you're my co-host today, you're my special guest.
Oh yeah.
So my problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have moved up in the world because I was here a few weeks ago as a guest, maybe for hour and a half.
Yeah.
And today I'm co-hosting.
Yeah.
Took me 30 years to.
We forgot to tell Patrick. Patrick, okay, let's go on. Patrick is out in Hollywood doing
Hollywood stuff.
Yeah, he's working on a top secret project, but I don't know the name of, but Hollywood is turning him into a monster, which
he's a model, right? A body cast model.
Yeah. They're gonna make him into this 6'9" hideous monster of some kind of creature. So he's getting all that done. Then they gotta film it. He told me it's some presentation, some horror thing. It's the horror.
Do you like scary movies?
Yes, I love scary movies.
No, I don't do them.
You know what?
To place the music, I don't.
Guess what? Guess what, Joanne? I'm going to take you to a scary movie.
No.
Is there any scary movies playing out there right now, Dan?
It is the best movie.
Is it still going?
Yeah, no.
Well, look, I'm going to get the popcorn.
Yeah, no. Nope.
I'm gonna come on. Look, I'm there to save you. I'll be
pay
there
me.
to save you.
You
Nothing's
could
gonna. I won't let
not
nothing happen to
pay
you.
me.
So are you? So do you have a fear of clowns?
Actually, no, clowns don't bother me really.
Really?
But
would you like a free clown
but death
painted?
does, and dead people do, and people that are getting murdered do.
Oh, I've got a clown painting. I wanted to give it to Laffy Pants. I go, hey, I got a clown. He's all, no more clown paintings. There's so many people. His living room, it's just like Ringling Brothers, and he's going, I'm done. Nobody bring me any more clown paintings.
How is Laffy Pants doing? I thought he was in the hospital.
Yeah, he was. He left. He said sayonara, and he left a balloon on his bed and took a picture of it, the empty bed with a clown, with a bunch of clown flowers in his bed. And, he's...
Okay, now you're creeping me out.
He's recovering all right, man. He's We're gonna get him in here. I'll call him up.
I mean, I have a music library, for film and TV and production music. So I have scary music. But I just try to screen it, put it in the library, and then not listen to it again because some of it's so good.
How about that group Goblin from Italy?
Yeah, I know.
Do you know who they are?
Goblin, no.
Yeah, Goblin. They've been around since the early 70s. They did. I think Mike Oldfield did Exorcist, right? Didn't he?
Oh yeah, because I watched that 100 times.
Tubular Bells. Remember his Tubular Bells album,
yeah,
Michael?
Yeah.
But Goblin, they did a lot of Italian horror, George Romero stuff, Dario Argento movies, Suspiria. This is a big cult film. Goblin, they have real scary keyboards in it. Yeah,
I did. Since the last time I saw you, I went to an interesting conference. It is held by the Guild of Music Supervisors, which has been around for about 3 years or something like that. And the new president is a young man named Thomas Golovich, and he is the music supervisor for Breaking Bad.
Whoa!
And so he kind of hosted this because he's the president of the guild, but there were a lot of other music supervisors, and another one that was there is a gentleman by the name of Bear McCreary, who does all the music for Walking Dead.
Wow!
Yeah.
Now, how does he get a job like that?
And then I think Thomas is responsible also for Better Call Saul, which is one of my favorites.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So it was really cool because what they did is they would play some of the scenes, like a Better Call Saul scene, and you get to hear the music. And they have the way they do it is they have these meetings about the episodes, and then they kind of sort of decide which scenes may need music, which don't. And then the ones that do, if they're going to go with their in-house composer or
an independent
music.
guy.
Yeah, and sometimes it flips, but it's really cool to hear how they do it. I mean, they just sit around and talk about how they're going to do it, just as if you're.
That's a cool thing, man. It gives people opportunities to get their music
and
heard.
how songs get heard. It's really, really interesting how music is placed in film and television. It wasn't just film and television. There was somebody from Activision, Sony, PlayStation, and EA Sports. And so the gal who does FIFA, which is like one of the #1 soundtracks, the soccer, and Madden, she does Madden, was there talking about how they pick songs and select songs. I guess there's like 40 magical tracks that go on FIFA every year, which is like one of the biggest worldwide games. And another interesting thing that I learned while I was there is that music in video games by far outsells music in radio and film and all that, and putting out records. I mean, it's just like a mega industry.
Oh, big time!
Yeah, like
man.
double
They
the
got
world I'm in.
they got those hooks in it, those jingles that they have in your record. Oh, that's from that whatever video game. That's from Mario Brothers. That's from Legends of Zelda, or whatever.
A lot of musicians and songwriters and students say, well, I have this great music. This music is great for video games. And I said, well, you can't hand me a CD with a song that you think is great for video game, because a lot of it is layered. It's different layers for different phases, and it's kind of a linear and horizontal music, whereas the stuff we're used to, rock and roll, radio, is more linear, has a beginning and an end. But Bear McCreary, who does Walking Dead, was saying that he's currently working on a video game right now, and he's saying it's very different. So it's a completely different skill set, in that you would turn over a set of files that has like 20 different stems, where in rock and roll, you give the record label, the whole mixed track, right?
Right.
But he said it was interesting because when he starts to play the video games, the two worlds kind of collided, and they sort of try to make it work. For example, if Bear McCreary was doing a song for a video game and the bad guy walks in the room, it's like, can we have the bad guy music theme show up when the bad guy walks in the room? And hey, when he leaves the room, can we have the music stop? Because before, if you're just a video gamer, you wouldn't think about those sorts of concepts and goes behind the scene. And why does it have to loop over and over and over and over and all those things? So it's kind of interesting to hear some of the conversations about music and how different it is.
It's combining that visual with the sound.
Right. And I mean, that's a music supervisor.
So like you say, when the bad guy comes in, you hear bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
And, that's what you're expecting, and it intensifies it.
Well, if you think back to being a kid, which I know you probably went through this, because every kid goes through this in, I don't know, first, second grade. They learn about classical music and classical instruments, and usually there's a field trip in there. And you do Peter and the Wolf, right?
Yes.
So, like, there's a big bassoon, which is like, each one has a character. Well, it's kind of the same thing in music for video games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
This
I have an
comes
answer.
from Dallas, Texas. Is Breaking Bad, since you know someone who does the music, is it going to come back, or is it done for now?
Well, the last I heard, it's done for now. I mean, they have the spinoff, which is Better Call Saul.
And speaking of Better Call Saul.
But if it was coming back, they wouldn't call me and tell me, because I'm on the music side. It is a void to production. But no, as far as I know, it's not coming back. Although here's one cool thing. I recently frequented the casino. They've got all these new video games, and they have a Breaking Bad.
No.
Last week they had a Walking Dead tournament. In fact, I said, "You guys get royalties in those?" And they're like, "No, they're buyouts."
So they pay one price. They pay a one-shot deal, and that's how they.
Yeah, I mean, there's a conference for everything. There's a conference for gaming, meaning casino games, not like video games. That's held in Vegas every year. That's like ginormous. I mean, because when I visited the casino recently, I mean, not only was it Breaking Bad and Walking Dead, but there's a new Tim McGraw, there's a new Elvis, there's a new Johnny Cash machine. So there's a lot of, yeah. There's, the Kiss machine, there's Cher, there's Britney. I mean, it's a whole new thing now.
Yeah, if you go to the Hard Rock, there's even a Sex Pistols slot machine.
No way! That is crazy.
Oh my gosh!
Man, I got all excited when Adam West was signing autographs, meet and greet at the debut of his slot machine, the Batman one. Yeah,
my favorite slot machine is called Sharknado, based off the film.
Are you serious?
It's hilarious. Oh my god,
those are my friends.
Yeah, you get randomly these chainsaws pop up, and then you get to chainsaw sharks as they're flying by. You literally put your hands on the screen and you just kind of chainsaw them in half.
That is so cool. I love it.
It's so fun.
I'm old school. I still like Wheel of Fortune.
Oh yeah. Well, they've done some pretty fancy things with it now. Bonus, and bonus, and yeah, you get 3 wheels instead of 1.
Yeah, and I hate when I spin that wheel and I always get 10 credits. Which is like
10 cents.
Yeah, 10 cents.
Is there a Gilligan's Island? Is there a Gilligan's Island slot machine?
No, but there should be.
I thought I saw one, man.
You could have.
Maybe I just wanted to see one, and that's what I saw.
It was been a dream.
Yeah, Songnet is pretty. It was pretty neat going to and this is held at USC Thornton School of Music down there. It's pretty impressive. Which when I grow up, I want to go to SC. You know why?
Why?
Well, it was during family week. I guess the kids have been in school for like 2 months, so they have this family week. So all these families from all over the world are coming in to snoop on the kids for a weekend, and they have a free concert. And the B-52s were playing a free concert.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Like, wow. Like, wow.
For free.
Yeah, because when I went to San Jose State, we didn't have the B-52s. We had some local bar band during family week.
Man, I'm glad bands are doing that a lot more. That's been going on now lately.
Well, it's nice to get a corporate or university check, I mean, they pay well and they pay on time. There's another area in the music industry that pays very well.
What? I gotta get on this, man, because I got a lot of jingles in my head.
No,
man.
because I source music. Well, it's not from the Sangre Valley. It's from the San Fernando Valley. They kind of make some films that are sort of X-rated, we should say.
Oh, I am so good with my synthesizer on porn music. Porn music.
And I had,
boom, 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 boom. I'm really good with the synthesizer.
It's changed from that. I don't know. It's not, Debbie Does Dallas anymore. I mean, it's really changed. Just like, spaghetti westerns are kind of not in in the new millennium. I mean, it's changed. But here's the thing is they're so well organized. And they pay on time, and they pay well.
Damn.
Yeah.
I better invest in my new Mini Moog synthesizer. I was pretty good. I had a Roland synthesizer, and I was doing...
Oh, I can top that.
I was way ahead of my...
No. I had a Juno 106.
A Juno 106?
A Juno 106.
I had a Juno 60. That's even better.
I had a Juno 106. Oh, you did have a Juno? Okay, props to
you.
you. Fist bump.
Yeah.
And then I had a Sonic Mirage digital sampler, which had a little floppy disk that you could put in songs.
Oh, God,
and
the floppy. I remember
that. The keyboard would split, right? And so if you put the disc in and you press it to like Santana, and the keyboard was split 8 ways, when you played the first 8 keys, it would play the bass line of Oye Como Va. Then when you go to the next 8, it would play like just the lick of the guitar. So it was literally a digital sampler.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
I had a Korg, too.
For the 2 hours that it was popular.
I had the Korg with the upright.
How about a Yamaha DX7?
Yeah, the DX7. It was like too stealth for me.
It was, and I went to.
I liked the old analog, LFO modulators and the PCM and all that that you crank by hand.
Well, the Yamaha DX7. It's a synthesizer, but it has like partial guts on the outside, so you had to learn algorithms, which is very mathematical. So I took electroacoustics at San Jose State, and it kicked my butt.
Wow!
But when I went in there, when I went into the program, I walk into the music program and I check out the school and everything, and I walk into this room and it's just got like layers of keyboards, and I play piano. So I thought, oh man, whatever they teach in this room, I'm gonna take this class. So the class ended up being electroacoustics. So I thought I was gonna learn how to play keyboards, maybe be in a college band. No, it was about algorithms. And so the first assignment I got. This teacher, by the way, his name is Dr. Strange, really, and he was really kind of out there, long hair. I mean, this is about 1986.
Wow, way ahead of its time.
So Dr. Strange says, okay, so this class is all about, it's not a keyboard or musician's class. It's actually about sound and, recording engineering and algorithms and programming. What's on the inside of synthesizers. And he said, your first assignment is you're going to learn how to make the sound of an ocean, psh,
oh yeah,
rolling ocean, and you're going to create it yourself, but you're not going to use any of these beautiful instruments on the wall. You're going to use this. And there's this big, giant, like 6-foot blob leaning against the wall, and it had a blanket over it, and he pulls it off, and it's a giant buchla. Now, buchla is a synthesizer with the guts on the outside. If you can go back to Cal Jam, I think 71, 72 with Emerson, Lake, and Palmer.
Yeah, it's a big wall.
It's a giant wall, and it has like 100 holes with patch cords.
Yeah, it's like an old phone operator.
Yeah, it looks like an old phone operator
from the 40s and 50s.
So to make the sound to make the sound, you had to patch the chords all correctly. And if there was like 40 of them and
That's a lot of work.
And 29 wasn't right, you wouldn't get your sound. So so I got my ass kicked in that class.
Damn, that is an ass kick.
Yeah, thank
That's
God
a
it was
chore.
Thank God it was a pass no pass class.
It's supposed to be fun, not unscrambling spaghetti. Look,
That's what it was.
Look at all these
Good.
chords in here.
You know, and sometimes the chords wouldn't work or they'd crackle. This is before, we had high-tech chords.
I tried plugging this in my computer. I thought this was my battery. I'm going, it's not working. Like, oh, that's a 1/4-inch jack.
So that's, So, Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
That's a great band. One of my
Yeah.
favorite,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
especially back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Their
know,
music was amazing.
you
I mean,
know-
I was a keyboard player. So my idols, of course, Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Yeah.
Another one's Greg Allman. Yeah.
When the synthesizer,
Russell.
when the Moog synthesizer started getting popular, that's when and the decade was changing, and it became 1980.
Yeah. No.
I had to get
Okay.
the ARP. There was an ARP, the ARP one that Gary Newman played, and then the old school Moog.
Okay. So now I'm
bands-
going to make everybody mad at me.
What?
I've taught history and rock and roll at college, right?
Right.
So I go start around the 40s, go through the 50s, 60s, 70s, 90s, millennium. I sort of just skipped the 80s, which is odd, I know, because I'm a keyboard player and it was all about synth.
How dare
But
you
I
skip
just
the
am
80s?
I just cannot get into the 80s. I mean, Phil Collins, when he went to the drum pads, I liked him better as a drummer versus the electronic drum.
And he's a drummer, and he's doing drum pads, drum machine.
I know,
Yeah,
and I still love him and I respect him, but I just could not get into synthesizer music.
Yeah, that's okay, because I skipped the 80s too. I was
Yeah.
so high and doped up, throughout the whole 80s. I just skipped it as well.
I did.
Well, it wanted me to take drugs, but I didn't. I mean, that's how much I didn't like it. That's just,
I went, like I said, I went and got my Juno 60. I had my little Korg monophonic noisemaker. Yeah. That's what I
had
called
a
it.
Dr. Rhythm and a Roland TR-505 Latin drum machine because
And
it threw in the extra timbales.
I bought a Fostex and I had a Tascam 8-track mixer, and you can mix and overdub on a cassette tape.
Yeah, those were cool.
I had the Fostex 4-track, and
Those are so
I
cool.
made songs. I made an album worth of songs, man. And I had the Roland drum, a little drum machine that was about this big.
Hey,
Yeah.
is that the call-in number there? What is the call-in number?
Right here. This
Dan, what's the call-in
Dan-
number?
909.
Oh, yeah.
360-8330. If you have any questions for me, Jeff, or guests.
I got binary numerical dyslexia. I was telling Rhonda last night when we were trying to call the station. I said 9880 instead of 8330.
So Jeff,
I was 3. Yeah, I get them all scrambled up. No wonder nobody called. Then I told my guest 8331. I was off one digit. It's horrible. Let's do that again. That's 909-360-8330. And there's no guarantee that I'm going to hear you when it calls in, like it did yesterday when our guest called.
I tested the
That was
lines, and they seem to be working good today.
yay.
The phones had to be reset. So, and
Good,
to-
because I might have some callers.
yeah, and to do that, I have to take a class. So,
909-360-8330. Let's see if my friends that I saw at karaoke last night. Remember I told you I'm on my way. I called you and I go, I'm on my way for a $2 margarita.
Yeah, uh-huh.
They
At
had-
Margaritaville, too.
I ran into two friends I haven't seen in a long time, and they supported me in my two songs. My friend Lisa, she sang some Karen Carpenter, man. She kicked ass on the Carpenter song. But the music, it depends on where you go to sing karaoke. If the music's not good and you can't hear the key, you can't sing it. And it was really weak. And I tried to do. I wanted to do the Osmonds. I wanted to do down by just like a yo-yo or down by the lazy river. No, I don't have it. Oh, we got this one bad apple, and I tried that, and the music was so low.
It was a bad apple, huh?
It was horrible.
I love that
I
song.
tried to do Tom Jones, and then I should have maybe done the Prince version and then sung it like Tom Jones, but it was the Art of Noise or something. The level was way low, and it's really sucked. I couldn't follow
Karaoke
it.
first came out, it was really generic, sort of keyboard-ish, you know,
Yeah.
very synthesizer-y, not like kind of full band production.
Yeah.
Like it is now.
And it was a horrible karaoke song, and I couldn't even sing with it. So I just pitched my high voice up, and I just did the Prince thing through it, and that wasn't my plan. So if you want really bad karaoke, go to Acapulco on Monday nights. If you really want to sound bad, if you're a good singer and you want to sound bad, go there on Monday nights. Yeah.
Well, I'm starting to wake up now, Jeffrey. Thank you for
Yeah,
the
you're
coffee.
welcome.
So ask me what I've been up to.
Hey, I got you your coffee. What
Oh,
you
yes,
thanking
you
him for?
did.
Oh, well, she's doubled up on coffee, man. Oh,
I'm double
lipstick,
dipping
I-
here.
You give her your
There's
coffee,
lipstick on
too.
both.
yeah, ooh, that's a collectible right there. I'm hanging on to this one.
Yeah, I framed that.
So ask me what I've been up to, Jeffrey.
Put that in the lobby.
What have you been up to since I've seen you? It was only been wait. You disappeared on me at the art show. I turned my back and you were gone.
Yeah.
You ditched out on me, man. I didn't even get to say goodbye or
I
nothing.
got things to do and places to go.
So you're just gonna leave me? I was just out front. I go, "Where's Joanne?" Oh, I don't know. That dude you were talking to from what band was it? Oh, the
I don't know,
Honey
there's only like-
Bucket. Honey
There's only
Bucket.
like 20 band people there.
Honey Bucket. The guy from the Honey Bucket.
Oh, yes, Devin.
Devin. He goes,
The
"Oh,
mandolin player.
I don't know.
The mandolin
okay.
player. Usually, when I go somewhere, if I leave, I don't make the rounds to say goodbye. I never do.
Because you'll
It takes too long. I
never
never
be able to
leave.
get out of there.
I can't get out.
I was
never-
looking for the restroom.
Yeah,
and it was way down the hall, down the. I'm like, what?
You
the
know,
hell
I've
is
had
this?
an event at that venue before, and that's the reason why I don't do it anymore.
It's all the way down the hall, down this creepy corridor, and
Oh,
it
no,
looks
no,
like
no.
something from Saw.
It not only is it's down a creepy corridor, you know, zigzag to get there.
Yeah.
But when you get there, it's unisex, and for a woman, that's horrific. Because that means you have to share the same restroom.
That's
where
pee all over the
that's
toilet
pee
seat.
all over the toilet.
Pee
Thank
all over the
you.
seat. Now clean up
Man.
after yourself.
Thank you. The toilet seat's up, and here we go again.
Guys are horrible they treat bathrooms like an outhouse at pick apart.
Well, actually,
And that's pretty bad.
You know why I left early? I had to go home.
That's the worst.
I've been working on this album that I produced in my house.
Yes. No. Is it on the thumb drive? You were
It
telling me
is
about
on the thumb drive. Maybe.
Now, how are we going to do this? Because I don't know how to do that. I mean, I got this laptop that's capable of doing everything: film editing,
Maybe we can
sound
give it to
editing.
Dan.
I got all this shit installed in here, and I got to hire like a 14-year-old kid to teach me how to do this
Really,
shit.
you don't know how to plug in? I had a radio show for a couple of years, and I did it all by myself. Actually, that's not true. I had interns.
We need an intern,
Yeah.
producer Dan.
Oh, we can get you some.
Tell me we do.
Oh my gosh, Cal Poly Pomona.
What do
Music
we do? Put
Industry
an ad in?
Studies program. I'll hook you up. They've got to do internships to get credit to graduate. And I've probably had 8 or 9.
Oh God, we need that so bad here because then it would make both of our
Hello?
jobs easier.
Look, if you need anything,
I do, Joanne. Help me.
Yeah. So I've been working on this record, mixing this record that I produced at my house, which was a task in itself.
I remember you told me this was this guy. Now, was this multiple artists or that one artist you were talking
All
about?
right, so here's the story.
And-
Maybe we'll have him call in a little bit. Daniel Diaz.
Daniel, yeah.
Yeah. So, because he's a local guy, you know, I've done a lot of different things, and I kind of like just go on these whims. You ever get this idea and you just sort of run with it? And I had built a small home recording studio for my son because he writes music for film and television. He's in a punk rock band.
I want to get his ass in here. I got to talk to him.
Well, you know, it's so early for him. He is not a morning person, let me tell you.
I'll have to
Oh,
just
my
let me
goodness.
talk to him. I'll talk him in here.
So Lester, here's an example. Yesterday I said, you know those mixed songs that we did for the new album? Maybe I
Yes.
can play them on the radio. Can you give them to me?
So,
I asked him at 7.
yes.
I woke up this morning and he gave me the files at 11:30 last night when I was sound asleep.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
You know,
So,
I don't mean to go off subject, but I want to get him in here and talk because I want to talk about because we both know the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I know the old school Rangers. I know all them Power Rangers. I met them in person, and then to meet I've already met him. I mean,
Yeah,
I've
he
hung
did
out with
this-
him, and to talk about making music
For the Power Rangers.
Power Rangers soundtrack, man.
And growing up, he was a Power Ranger
That-
for like 6 years.
That excites me.
Yeah, he was a Power Ranger for a long time. In fact, when we had the meeting with...
Was he Putty Patrol too? Did he put on the putty?
Nope. He was a Power Ranger. When we had the meeting at the corporate headquarters for Saban in Century City,
Yeah.
they asked him, are you familiar with the Power Rangers? And I was like, yeah, he was one for like 6 years. I have
Which
the
one?
photos.
Which
The green one.
I know, but which version? Power Rangers Ninja Force, Power Rangers
Well, he did.
Zeo.
As growing up, he watched the first few, and then when he wrote the music for the Power Rangers
movie.
Dubstep. No, it was a Dubstep viral video they made. They were trying to make, Saban was trying to make Power Rangers cool again.
Yeah.
And because, our generation was familiar with it, and he was familiar, and when he did it, he was probably 23, 24 years old, right? So he grew up with as a kid. So they're trying to get these 23 to 24-year-olds who are now having kids to sort of revive it. So they hired him to do a viral video, and they hired these filmmakers to do it. So they put him together. So he did this video, and their goal was to sell to get a million hits, viral hits for it. And of course, it has like 16, 17 million. And it took like less.
God, that's a lot.
And it's a dubstep, and it's funny because we're sitting in this meeting and they're trying to describe like music dubstep like Skrillex, but these are corporate people in a corporate building in a corporate setting.
Can
and
you
they're
teach
like,
us
can you
about-
wobble, drop, fizz, boom,
Can you wobble double this this Skrillex thing? Can you
Yeah.
explain to us and
Yeah,
help
what
us
that is.
achieve our goals for this dubstep?
And it was weird because if you know anything about electronic music, dubstep has a crazy drop towards 3/4 of the song, or the second half of the song. It's like this long build up, and then boom, it hits you, right?
Yeah.
Well, in the Power Rangers video, they wanted the drop to come in the beginning because they start dancing all crazy in the beginning. So he's like, but Mom, that's not dubstep because they want me to drop the hard drop in the beginning. That's like too soon. But I'm like, well, this is what they're going to pay you, son.
Give them what they want.
So he did it. It's
You could always make your alternative version, right? I mean,
well, he did the song, and then they said, well, do you want to use any of the original stems from the original track? So we waited like 2 months because they were in Europe somewhere, and he got the stems, and I think all he used was the go.
Oh,
the rest
yeah.
was all him.
I swear to God, I thought somebody told me, and I just rolled with it, and I told everybody else, and that it was Yngwie Malmsteen playing the guitar solo on the original track.
Now that I wouldn't know. Wasn't in on that meeting.
Yeah.
But here's some cool. Speaking of cool guitars, Junior Brown,
Junior
Highwayman.
Brown. Yeah.
Yeah, he plays that git steel. It's half guitar, half like a lap steel guitar in one. It's like a double neck thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, he does the music. He does the opening music for SpongeBob, SquarePants.
Oh, he does all that Hawaiian, slide guitar, that Hawaiian slide guitar.
And
yeah.
he does the opening for Better Call Saul.
Wow, that's
yeah. A lot of musicians, famous musicians, they come home, they come off the road. They love doing this stuff, because they don't get to play the
because
instruments.
it's really good.
It's different. When you go on the road, you play your own songs, blah, blah, blah. But when you come home and it's a different challenge, and they just love it.
You think about how silly SpongeBob is, but the music is spot on tight. I mean, it's professional tight.
Yeah,
playing that lap steel.
Yeah.
Playing that Hawaiian music. It's very good.
I'm a big fan of SpongeBob.
No, you're not.
That could be good or that could be bad.
Yeah, it could be kind of weird.
Yeah, it could be kind of weird. Yeah, I know. I did a conference with all these kids, and I was playing the Power Ranger dubstep that my son had done for Saban. And any questions? Of course, the kids raise your hand. Do you know SpongeBob? I was like, yeah. But it's funny because I actually do know SpongeBob.
Tom Kenny? You know Tom Kenny?
Well, he was...
He's also Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life.
He's a fan of the Texas Tornadoes. And the Texas Tornadoes played at the Taste of Texas.
They shut that down. Nick's Taste of Texas. I used to love going there.
They were one of the last bands to perform there, and he sort of emceed it. So then there was like a little after party in the back, and I met him and told him, what I was doing in the music business. He was telling me he's a voiceover. And then he started doing SpongeBob. I was like, oh my God. And I took a picture with SpongeBob, literally.
He's also the Ice King. He's also the Ice King from Adventure Time with his penguin Gunther.
Taste of Texas. Is that the place in Covina?
Yeah, used to be in Covina. I miss that place. Oh my God, they had such great concerts. I saw Albert Lee. I saw Texas Tornadoes. I mean, come on. Augie Myers, really?
Yeah.
Flaco Jimenez. This literally minutes from my home. I mean,
the last
without
one,
having to drive to Texas, it was awesome. Delgado Brothers played there all the time.
Oh, I remember those guys.
Yeah, Johnny Main. I mean, just some of the most brilliant talent out of Southern California and other places.
Is Rude Dog still down there?
Rude Dog is still down there.
Yeah, I was there. Okay, I was there singing karaoke 2 weeks ago.
It's great for sports.
It's coming out of me. I'm telling everybody where I'm singing. I sing karaoke all over the place. Rude Dog. I go to the.
It's a warning. Everybody's writing it down.
I go to the Continental.
Stay away.
The best
karaoke. I live walking distance from the Continental.
Joanna, I'm going to call you when I'm there. I'm going to have to sing some songs for you.
I don't karaoke. There's only 2 songs.
Well, I'm going to sing. You got to go there and support me.
Can we do?
Can we do a duet?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's one that I do. It's Sonny and Cher. I Got You, Babe.
Okay, we could do that.
I do that one. I do.
Can we do Iggy Pop and Kate from the B-52s?
No. Yeah, no. I do 2 songs. That's it.
Come
one
on,
of them is
baby.
I Got You, Babe. Yeah.
The Continental. Now that.
And the other one is Midnight Rider.
They got good karaoke. The girl that runs that has the good music. It fills your ears. You could sing in key. It's really good there at the Continental.
Yeah, that's not my thing. That's why I'm on the music business side. My vocal talent and my musicianship doesn't qualify me for the other side.
Can you fake keyboard and we'll just just if I ever get on stage?
Yeah, I can actually.
And just
I do it in the car all the time.
Fake it,
especially when Emerson, Lake and Palmer come on. I fake the solos all the time. I've gotten really good at air organ.
Yeah, I air drum all the time.
Yeah,
my wife Rhonda, she gets mad at me because I'll be driving and then all of a sudden I'll stop and like.
Yeah, I know. It's like Allman Brothers. I air organ all the time on anything that's Allman Brothers.
My favorite keyboard player I love to listen to his solos is Dave Greenfield from the Stranglers. I should play. They do a version of Walk On By. Burt Bacharach's Walk On By.
Oh man, Isaac Hayes' version. Woo!
Oh my God, the keyboard.
Dirty.
I'm gonna have to play that for you. While we're doing that, we could figure out how to make this thumb drive. How do you make a thumb drive play? Do you plug it in my computer?
Give me a driver's license.
And you have to have special license. Okay.
Let me talk about this project.
Let's talk about this project with okay. What do I do? What do I do? Plug this?
Stick it in there?
You're gonna have to.
You put it in.
Okay.
You gently
Just
slide
stick
it in.
Gently.
Yeah.
Right here?
Gently slide it in.
Okay.
And something will happen.
Now what? Installing device of software.
That's it.
There you go.
And then go ahead and hit. It'll prompt itself. So anyway, I
just hit next and next and next, and it'll go.
Device.
I can help you with it.
Okay. What should I click on that? What?
Yeah. When we're ready.
Okay. It says.
When we're ready, we'll click on it.
Flash disk USB. It says 2 of these things. It says ready to use, Joanne.
Yeah, good. So let me set it up for you.
Could you please?
So, I do a lot of different things in the music industry. Whenever I do something I think I can work on, I just do it. So I built this studio for my son, right?
Right.
Getting back to my story. And I have San Gabriel Valley Music Magazine. I'm always writing articles. Well, there's this Johnny Thompson's Music Store, which is in Monterey Park.
I told you that's where I bought my I got rid of my motocross. I got rid of my my dirt bike, and I bought an SG copy, an Electra SG copy at Johnny Thompson's Guitar Shop.
Every time I mention the name, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, I got this there, I got that there. It's been around since 1964, I think.
That was the only place. There were no guitar centers or
right.
And Sam Ash said they've been around, but I didn't hear
And Johnny, who's still alive, and he still pops in the store and does work there.
How old is he now?
Well, I mean, you never ask a man his age, especially in rock and roll.
Oh, gosh. Is he older than Keith Richards?
He's older than me. Well,
Okay.
he serviced. I mean, he's a sound guy. His thing was like front of house kind of big sound, and so he used to have a relationship with the Hollywood Bowl and different.
Yeah, he was the big sound guy, right?
He was a big sound guy and an expert at the time in L.A. So he did a lot of work, and a lot of people were familiar with him. There was no Guitar Center or Sam Ash, so people would go into that store. If you go into the store today, you will see a photo of Led Zeppelin in the store. Literally, you'll see a photo of Jimmy Page. I mean, Black Sabbath, Dr. John. All these musicians grew up in this store, and when they'd come in, they would do these drops on tape. Hello, whenever I'm in LA, I shop at Johnny Thompson's Music. So he had all these drops.
This is Robert Plant.
Yeah.
You're
Mick Taylor. He's got them
Come
all.
shop at Johnny
he's got
Thompson's
Richie
guitar.
Blackmore. I mean, literally Dr. John. So anyways, there's this store which has its fame. All right, so this is Monterey Park. This is the neighborhood I grew up. This is the neighborhood I grew up in. Monterey Park, San Gabriel, Alhambra, Temple City, El Monte, Rosemead. Anyways, just on the outskirts of East LA. So fast forward to today. There's a gentleman, a friend of mine that I've known for a long time named Daniel Diaz, and he taught there for 15, 20 years. And Danny Diaz taught there, and so he's now 71, and his students, they're in their 50s and 60s, have all got these brilliant careers in the music industry. I mean, a lot of them. If you know people like Bob Robles, Carlos De La Paz, these are all musicians that we know from the San Gabriel Valley. John Avila, Louis Reese, who was in Felony. I mean, I'm drawing a blank, but there's just so many musicians who knew him. Mike Albert, who was in Megadeth. Took lessons from Danny. Okay, he took lessons from Danny.
I heard he was hanging around in this area.
He lives a
in
mile
Upland
from me,
and
I've worked with him. I actually got him 2 independent record deals. That's a whole nother story.
Wow.
But this is how I know them all. They all took these lessons from Danny Diaz. So I got into talking to Danny because I've known him throughout the local music scene, and I said, well, what's your history like? He said, well, before I worked at Johnny Thompson's, I was in a band and we toured, and I opened. He told me he opened for Vanilla Fudge. He opened for the Grateful Dead. Wow. His band broke up, and then he started teaching at Johnny Thompson's. So I said, well, I know you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I said, I know you. You're a brilliant musician. I said, how come I've never heard any of your own original music? And I watch you play, so I know you can play and write music. He goes, well, actually, I do, but, when I was young and I showed my mentor my music, he made fun of it, so I never showed anybody my music. I said, well, Danny, let me hear it. That's silly. That was, that was when you were young. You're like 71. Your chops have changed a lot.
Yeah.
So I said, well, why don't you bring me some compositions? So he comes over and he writes everything down on sheet music, and he comes over a couple weeks later with a cassette, like a cassette recorder, like the kind we grew up with. And so what he did is he played into them so that I could hear the melodies.
Right.
And I was like, wow. And I was
Were they full tracks or just bits and pieces?
No. He was humming the bass line and playing it live. And I told him the first time, you need to lay it down so I can kind of hear the melodies. And that's when he showed up with a cassette. Man. So then I took the cassette and a digital recorder and I kind of digitized them, right? So I could hear the raw material. Wow. And I go, we could do a record. And I was thinking of just doing something a little kind of acoustic-y of original compositions, but they were jazz, Latin jazz, roots, blues. So I thought, well, it's going to take a lot to get real musicians. And then we had a godsend. He brought in Adrian Wanji, who's an amazing, amazing drummer, performer. But more importantly, he has this brilliant ear, particularly with this style of music, that just increased the level of the possibilities that I could do on this record. And then he brought in another fabulous musician called Steve Campos, who's a famed keyboard player that I've known since I was a kid. One of my idols, a keyboard player. And so they came in and helped. They were there almost every day of recording. And we did this album with a full band.
So this is all based off the
compositions.
The composition that he had on the cassette tape.
Yes. Everything.
And say, okay, let's take this and let's fill it in.
So we had to turn them into songs.
Let's fill it in.
We had to turn them into songs. So Danny and I sat and we wrote music and chords and melodies to fit the music. And then we brought in Adrian and Steve Campos. And then I said, well, you know, he had no budget. So then I did a Kickstarter, which we got a couple grand to get us going.
Wow, that's
a
pretty
little
good.
bit.
Man, I love to kickstart, man. I'd be lucky to get $5 on a Kickstarter.
It costs so much money to do a really, I mean, I really want a good album, something that I could present to the Grammys, you know?
You raised this money and you had to go into a nice studio, right?
Well, what I wanted to do is, when Joanne Desmond does something, I don't just do it half-assed. I go grand. So what I told Danny, I said, let me work on an album. I said, but more importantly, you have this amazing history that needs to be told, and more than just an article, you know, on my blog, right? So I said, let me do a documentary, and I'd like to pay tribute to you and have all of your former students come out. So I actually had a tribute party for him in March, and I actually made a documentary. In the documentary, he's talking about growing up, and in between, you know, every 5 or 6 minutes, I'd show raw footage of us creating the album.
Oh,
so it's really cool. So the album is, you know, so it's brilliantly done. So I have to say thanks to Steve Campos and Adrian Monge. And so all of these, John Avila, you know, is an Oingo Boingo is on the record.
Oh, yeah.
Playing a cigar box. We've got John Vatos from Avila. We have Johnny Vatos' son who plays upright bass. And
he does. I didn't know Johnny Vatos had a kid.
Oh, and he's in the Oingo Boingo dance party, and he plays. He reads classical music and he plays with a Philharmonic.
So when I saw him, that was him playing up there. When I saw him and Woody Apple and App.
Yeah, he switches off between John. Their schedules between John and yeah, that's Freddie Hernandez.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Who I believe is named after Freddie Hubbard, which is a whole nother jazz story.
Good.
But these guys all grew up. I mean, Louis Reese is on the record. He played with Felony, the band Felony. They had a hit song on K-Rock. Remember?
Oh, yeah, The Fanatic.
Exactly. He's on the record. So, you know, so there's probably like 20 musicians on the record.
Wow.
So it became a big production in a small studio, and it was a lot of fun. And so I've been mixing the record, and I've got five songs mixed and ready to go. But, you know, on the other side, people think it's easy. It's really hard to put out a record, to mix and master a record. But there's also a lot of stuff. For example, this album, we have about 13 songs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like 5 or 6 are like jazz, Latin jazz. The other 5 or 6 are roots, blues, you know.
Ooh, I like that. I like
okay. Yeah, well, the music industry doesn't. Yeah. Go figure.
What is that? What's up
well,
with that?
Well, because, you know, when you release a record, it's got to go, you know, in Amoeba Records, it's got to go into a certain category.
Yeah.
It's got to sort of be boxed in. And so I'm having trouble releasing it because I'm like, okay, what do I do? Do I just put them all together? Because then it doesn't, the categories for like, you know, Grammys and for radio and for record distribution, they don't like that. They want 66% of the record to be one style, because you can't have an album that's got country and dubstep on it, right?
Oh, no.
Okay, so the same thing. So now I've got these like 13 tracks. So I said, well, let's just focus on the jazz ones because those are ready. So we've got about 5 of them done. So we'll release those. But now I'm thinking, okay, well, when I get them to be nominated and I submit the songs, is an album of just 6 or 7 songs enough, or do we have to go back in the studio and record a couple more? And yeah, so I just want people to learn there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes on the business side of things, which is because we recorded this in March. And here it is, October, and I haven't released it yet.
Yeah, and this is where I'm sorry to interrupt
No.
you. This is where internet radio is starting to get bigger.
Oh, yeah.
And here at Chaotic, we're starting to grow. I look at our numbers every day, and we're growing. And we're growing on YouTube. We're growing on Facebook.
You got more girth.
Because we could play what we want.
Yeah.
You don't hear live DJs anymore. You hear programmed music. You hear Lady Gaga. You hear, I don't know what's that guy's name, Justin Bieber. And you hear all these people just redone over and over. And Tim McGraw and all these other idiots. Well, you know that you don't hear any independent stuff anymore. But, you can
thank you, America, because this doesn't happen in Europe. Here's the thing. Let's talk about blues for just one second.
That's why we have listeners
blues
in Europe.
Listen, blues.
Yes.
Blues. I know blues bands. I mean, you're talking Walter Trout, the Delgado Brothers, right? Yeah. All these great artists, John Mayall. They do so well overseas, Europe and the Netherlands, right? Amazing. But in the U.S., it's really hard to get, I think Walter probably does 2 or 3 tours in Europe for every one he does in the U.S. I mean, literally, and the reason is, and I found this out, the radio DJs in Europe and other areas, the popularity and the advertisement is based on the DJ. So if you're like a great DJ, it doesn't matter what you play. People like your show and what you present and how you present it. But here in the U.S., it's very commercial. So it's driven by a pie, where they have to pick, because what it is the ads here have a demographic. If you're KLOS, they're male, 26 to 57 or whatever the demographics are. So that, they have these, Mercedes commercials or whatever it is, and they have to coincide, Viagra, whatever, where if it's Kiss FM, it's more poppy and it's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so there's commercials. So all of the music has to fit the demographic. But if you're a radio and DJ, in Europe, to hell with all that. You get to play whatever you want. You can go from Britney to Sex Pistols. And if you talk about it and present it correctly, you're going to build a fan base. They're going to love you. So, that's what's happened with the blues. I mean, the blues is great. They can get some festivals here. But
that's something they don't get, because blues came from here, right? And over like in Sweden or somewhere.
Yeah.
Or Germany going, we like the blues very much.
Yes. Walter Trout, Sam Avila, I think Danny Avila is playing bass with them right now. And they're on tour. And I'm getting all these photos from Europe. Fantastic,
Yeah.
And the Netherlands, same thing. I mean, but so that's good old USA. Commercial radio, But I mean, come on, we grew up on FM, right?
Yes, yeah.
No static at all, right?
Yeah. I mean, I started in elementary school. It was 93 KHJ.
Yeah.
KHJ is my #1 radio
Yeah.
station. It was
Oh,
just-
God. I remember the Mighty 690.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember the real Don Steele show on
yeah,
TV?
the real Don
Yeah.
Steele.
Yeah. And Soul Train and all those things. I mean, American Bandstand was cool, but, yeah. So anyways, I got this record, and I have all these amazing musicians.
So
and
we have this plugged in. How do we play this?
you have to open the folder.
Will you help me?
All right. She's helping Jeff to get his computer going, to play some songs for us.
Why Joanne's here? I'm getting my magic glasses.
Uh-oh. Jeff's spying on everybody who's listening in on Facebook and maybe on our app, which is www.chaoticradio.com.
We got to get Jimmy Ganser back in. He's watching right now.
Hey, Jimmy. Alan's got to get
He
back
was
in
our
here,
first
too.
guest. He's a great musician and songwriter.
So
And Friday we have an exciting guest, too.
Oh, yes. We have Steve Marardi from Two Broke Girls.
What a great guy.
And he's also in Airplane, Smokey and the Bandit.
I love Smokey.
History of the World. Was it History of the World? Mel Brooks? No, Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles, yeah.
This guy is golden, man. He's got stories about, he's been in movies with John Wayne, Dean Martin,
Frank Sinatra, he
Frank
knew.
Sinatra, and then he's
Sammy
doing
Davis Jr.
the Mitchum brothers, Robert Mitchum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good old days.
The good old days. Anyway, yeah, and then we have another special guest, our Scream Queen, Queen Malvolia. Her name is Jen Nangle. She's coming in Thursday. She's going to be like where, Elvira, she's retiring. This is what's coming up. She's going to be the next.
I can't
next
wait.
Elvira.
I can't wait for that.
So
Love that casino
keep
game.
tuning into the Jeff Sargent Show, because we got a lot of guests coming in. We were supposed to have some in today, but the drummers got sick. We got this guy, Chris Moore, and Jamie Harris from Aquarian Drumheads. They were going to come in together, but they're rescheduled for next Thursday.
Yeah, the last thing we want is people to come in sick and coughing all over these microphones, because
Yeah,
we
not
all
good.
share them, even though the foam part comes off and we wash them every day.
Yeah, but you put them on your nose when you're a clown.
It just looked like it's on my nose.
How did we get off subject? Joanne, where are we right now? Okay.
Let's
Coffee
play.
time.
Now-
So these songs came out. We had to give them names because they didn't even have names, right?
Right.
And I wish I had some of the more. I don't know. I guess I'm thinking that your fan base is more rowdier than this, than jazz.
Then me? No, I'm the only one.
but we can pay a portion. These were freshly mixed. So this one we'll play first.
Finger snap.
Called Finger Snap. Didn't have a name, but when
Pomona Groove.
when we were doing the rhythm, we're like, it goes like this, and then when we kind of finished recording the song, I go, you know what? We should put like a finger snap in the beginning. So I actually play
Finger snap?
Finger snap.
me see your
A lot
fingers.
of yeah, these are actually
You
these
got
are
good
instruments.
snapping fingers.
I have
And I
good
like the
snapping
rings you
fingers.
got. You've got musical notes on your rings.
Yeah, I don't wear jewelry unless it's a
Look at this.
unless
Look
it's
at
a
this,
treble
everybody.
clef. Yeah, rock and roll.
So
So we can
Dan,
play a little bit.
Your phone is
Is it dying?
oh god, it's really hot. It's gonna blow up. 20 cent, yo. What's up? No, it's 20% battery remaining. Low power mode.
All right, let me bring it in here and plug it in, and I'll broadcast from in here because you don't
Okay.
have a charger in there.
We're gonna
Change. Oh man, is this time to put lipstick on because nobody can see me?
look at this beauty.
No, you can see on YouTube.
Look at those lips.
Oh man, my glasses are dirty.
Pretty eyes.
Oh man. It's
Oh,
late.
just bring me my phone. I don't have to drag myself in there. Now, I got a charger right here. Yeah.
Now, when we get into the
Whoa,
music,
that's hot.
you have to. When we get into the music, it's been since March since we did all these sessions, so I don't remember like who's on guitar, who's on drums, on this. I'll have it in the credits when it comes out. But anyway, so the first one there is called
We got finger
Finger
snap.
Snap. We don't have to play
Pomona
the whole
Groove.
thing. Yeah,
The cool feeling.
yeah. These are great for soundtracks.
Virago.
You know,
What kind of
you
word
know,
is that?
Oh, okay. So
what's
this
a
was
virago?
I helped him with this song, and it's like a sassy Latin kind of thing, and it's got this. And I thought it sounds like a wild woman, so I looked up wild woman in Spanish,
And it's
the
virago?
woman came out like virago. She's like this mistress of she's like a warrior woman. So we call this song virago.
Señorita Virago.
Yeah.
La gusta es mucho.
Well, we don't have to play the whole thing, but you can start with finger snap and
Okay, so if I play, I'm pointing and
just
click.
double click. Double click.
Oh, and then I press this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is pretty easy, Joanne.
I
Thank you.
know. I've done this before.
I could learn so much from the world. Can learn so much from you.
Yes, this is not my first rodeo.
No, gosh, it's like every day is our first rodeo, isn't it, Dan? Every day we're here at the station.
And we're riding a bull that's bigger than both us put
And
together.
Joanne is a blessing to us for our show. She could get us an intern. She makes it. Oh, it's so simple.
Oh,
like,
you know, this record I did, I couldn't have done without the interns, with microphones and chords and sessions and food, and I mean, you know, they're essential, at least.
Oh, they're
for what
very
I do.
essential.
Yeah. The only bad thing about interns is you train them, and then 6 months later they're gone.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
graduate and they get a real
oh,
job.
they graduate, and then you got to
or they
pay
start
them.
asking you for money.
then you got to pay them, $3,000 a week.
But I did have an intern who did some work with me, Charlie McCord, who was wonderful working with us. I mean, he was like a sub, but he did such a good job that I kept him for the entire production of this album. And he's kind of a shy guy, and about 4 sessions into it, I found out that he is the son of Billy Vera from Billy Vera and the Beaters.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great. You know, if you get intern likes us, maybe they'll like stick around a little longer, or is that a possibility?
Yeah, if they love what they do and they can contribute. I mean, I've had some that stuck around post graduation. I love them. All right, so this is Finger Snap.
Finger snap. I press the button.
There it goes. Hear my snap?
Oh, I hear.
And of course, that's Danny Diaz on guitar.
Wait. Did you say Danny Avila?
Danny Diaz.
Oh, Danny D. Oh my God, this guy's hot. Oh my gosh, this is great. Amazing.
Yeah, kind of. There's some bebop on this record, which is pretty fabulous.
You put this all together, man.
Yes. In my little tiny house, in my little tiny studio.
You're a great manager too. I think you, man. What a great producer Joanne is.
That's Steve Campos on keys. Amazing.
Wow.
And it all started with this cassette tape with ideas on it.
Yeah. Well, actually, I kind of had to extract the information in the song from him.
You had to kind of strain it, put it through a strainer and extract it.
Here we go.
I could sing to this.
It's got a lot of swagger, huh?
Yeah.
My baby, she's the best I have.
I need a cigarette too, and a martini.
I think I could tap dance to this. Where's my shoes? Where's my shoes?
I think it'd be.
You left them at my house last night with my wife.
For film and television, it could be like this crazy detective kind of thing.
This is good. You could use this for soundtracks.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, this could even be in a murder scene.
Yeah. These guys are gonna kill me if I don't name who this is.
Now who's playing keyboards?
Okay, Steve Campos is on keyboards. Remember, I had different players, but I know keys. I think this solo is Bob Robles. Plays with the
This guy is good. He reminds me of Bob Summers. You know Bob Summers? He would play with Bernie on drums. Bernie played with Danny, not Danny, Sammy.
Yeah, I know Bernie. Bernie Hersey. Bernard Hersey. Yeah.
And he's got Outer Space and Planet Creator on his drum set.
It's got a lot of forward motion, which I think works well for film and television too. And an infectious melody.
So are all of these instrumental?
I think the jazz ones are instrumental, and then the blues and roots, we've got one with the Delgado brothers singing, and there's a Johnny B. Good swamp version of Johnny B. Good with Cigar Box. Yeah, I mean, I had a saxophone play. It's amazing. Oh my God, we call him Fifi. Amazing sax, flute, one take kind of guy.
One take?
Oh yeah.
That's pretty good. Get anything on one take amazes me.
Little attitude.
This is a really good mix. I mean, this engineering is
My son,
phenomenal.
Ben, did this. Yeah.
Man, he mixed this?
Yes, he mixed it.
Oh my God.
Here's Danny's solo. Danny Diaz solo. Remember, he's 71 years old. And these are all his former students that are playing on the record. Friends.
I can see him being a musical mentor to other younger people.
Yeah.
A young kid mixed this.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Well, I do believe it, but it's just like, I'm really impressed with this guy. Because sometimes...
Yeah, thank you, Ben Frank, a.k.a. Drix. I mean, my son, he's a certified audio engineer, which helps. But honestly, he's a musician. He plays bass.
You got to have an ear for mixing.
Yeah, and mixing and mastering are two completely different skill sets. It's like, just because I drive a car doesn't mean I can drive a Mack truck. I mean, they're completely different. You got to know what you're doing. And I had a lot of not a lot, but there was pushback. Remember, I'm working with about 30 guys. No women, just 30 guys. And like, well, who's going to mix it? Who's going to... And then when you say your kid, it's kind of like, I hope she knows what she's doing.
We'll have my
son,
kid.
dude. He's just great, He went to school for this, But honestly, I mean, I'm really hearing it through these headphones today, and Ben, wow. It didn't sound like that on the premix. I have another one. The one about Virago. Let me just tell you a little story about that. I went to a meeting which had nothing to do with the record. I have a friend named Jesus Florido. He's played with Dudamel. He's from the Venezuelan Children's Orchestra. He's a phenomenal, world-renowned violin player. And I had worked on his album that he produced many years back. And I had a meeting with him, and he's like, what are you working on? I said, I'm working on this album. Like, it's actually kind of Latin jazz. And we were talking, and I was telling him the story about Danny. And then I asked Jesus, you know, how is his health? Because Jesus had a brain tumor that he almost killed him.
Oh my God!
And he had surgery. And I said, you know, Danny Diaz had a brain tumor, and he's got a little dent in his head, and he had a tumor removed too. He's like, oh my God, I never met anybody in the music industry.
Wow, what a collaboration!
Yeah. And I said, well, would you like to come play on the record? I mean, I didn't think he'd say yes, and he did. And he's on 2 songs, and so a lot of these songs were written specifically for the musicians that were going to play. I mean, when Danny and I sat down, we said, this would be good if it had this or that. And so we came up with Virago, which is kind of a Latin spicy thing named after, I think Virago means like warrior mother or something like that. And so he came in, and I pretty much think he did this in one take. These guys are like studio musicians, and they're just amazing, amazing people. And Jesus had never met anybody. So every time we did a song, I have a picture on my couch of everybody that performed on the song. That's how I remember who performed. So this may have some of that violin in there in this final mix, and it's called Virago.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Come closer to me, baby. Our lips are so close. You have a beautiful fragrance. Wax on my mustache.
Do not look at me when you talk like that.
Am I looking at you, Dan?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to look at Joanne, but
look at Joanne. Don't look at me.
I was thinking on this song, like, Selma Hayek and
dancing. Yeah, Selma Hayek dancing.
Well, yeah, this is more like a Joanne Ledesma. It's a little bit slower.
I definitely want to slow dance with you on this one.
And
who's playing all the? Is there bongo drums? Is there?
Oh, well, Adrian played some percussion. He played the majority of the percussion. We did have Ray Solis come in and play some percussion.
Oh, Ray, Crazy Ray.
Yeah, with a long hair.
The caveman, the wild man.
Yep. Grew up with Johnny Diaz.
I love Ray, man.
But the percussion, I mean, hands off to Adrian Mwanji, who just hear the triangle?
Yeah.
Thank you, Adrian.
The triangle.
All the percussion.
The triangle is such an underrated
I'm in
instrument.
love and I'm single. Like, it just puts you in that.
And it's like, it's underrated. I mean, the Philharmonic Orchestra has a triangle. Did you know that?
Have you seen that commercial with the guy playing triangle? Like, I love that. Here's the solo. Here's the one-take solo.
Okay. Here it comes.
This is Jesus.
God, listen to those chops. Oh, man.
Watch what he does here.
That is the most badass violin. Oh, that guy's just squeezing it out of there, man. Double harmonic.
Ooh. I mean, he did that, and we were all standing outside the booth in my house. I have an ISO booth, and I had like tears, and I was recorded on my phone. I was just like...
Did you get to hear the track by itself? Did you? When you separate, when you separate the tracks and you just listen to that violin?
Well, we had to do, mostly for every song, we had to lay down like a dummy track of drum and bass so they could play to, and sometimes rhythm guitar. So he was kind of listening to it and playing. And I mean, let me tell you about Jesus Florido. Okay, he's endorsed by like Fender and Yamaha. Yamaha electric violin and he plays a Fender Cyber Twin with the wah-wah. That's his main thing. So he plays violin like a guitar.
Yeah, I was just saying some of those chops he was like doing double harmonic.
He plays guitar, and he plays violin, and he does it. When I first met him, I hooked him up with Gary Hoey. I mean, he wanted Gary Hoey on his record.
I've seen Gary Hoey.
Well, Gary Hoey has a song where Jesus and him are going toe to toe, and Gary Hoey's playing his guitar, and Jesus is playing electric violin with the wah-wah through the Cyber Twin.
The guy is incredible because I know Gary Hoey. I went and saw him at the Gas Lamp one night. This guy is so cool, and he'd always throw his sponsors out. How do these strings sound?
Yeah.
How do these pickups sound?
Yeah.
And then he goes, anybody plays guitar out there? We're doing a blues jam. They're doing it, and anybody from the audience could go up there and do a little guitar solo. Yeah. Bum, ba-dum, your regular basic blues chop. And then there's about 15 guys that went up there and did their little 30-second, solo. And the Gary Hoey is, to play with that guy, I can imagine this guy played violin with him and both doing their, like you said, playing violin like a guitar.
Yeah.
I can imagine how badass it sounded.
No, Jesus is phenomenal. He's just phenomenal. And how lucky am I for him to come and guest appear? These guys all donated their time. They love Danny and wanted to do something for him.
Yeah.
Because he's always been there for them. Danny, by the way, DannyDiaz.com. I created him a website. I made him business cards. He's always gigging. He gigs all the time. He's a hired gun. He's like in 7 different bands.
Well, why don't you,
Danny, if you're out there, you should call us in.
Why don't you, when he's playing live, call me and I'll go with you. Let's go. And I want to see this guy live.
He plays blues. He plays rock. He plays roots music.
I just want to see him play. I don't care wherever it is. Just call me up and say, Jeff, hey, Danny, he's playing tonight. Let's go see it. I'll be there.
The 2016 International Blues Competition.
Yeah.
International Blues Competition. The winners.
Wait, international. That means
International Blues of the world.
Of the world.
The 2016 winners are the Delgado brothers.
Oh wow!
And they're from El Monte. They're from our neck of the woods. They've had a phenomenal career. And Joey Delgado, the lead guitar player, learned from Danny Diaz.
Wow!
And so Joey, there's a song, and that one has vocals. So can you believe I did that in my tiny little studio?
Man, I can't believe the production, the quality is just like.
Thank you, Ben.
You know what? I don't think we could we have done that? Would have done that if this was back in the 80s? Or even the 90s?
Not without more complication. It could have been done, but not without more complication.
It seemed like it was more expensive back then because of the way.
Oh yeah.
I know when I went in the recording studio, I had to pay like $40 an hour or something. I don't know what it was, but just to lay down on the big tape and master it down to the half track, the half-inch tape.
Well, fixes are certainly easier. This was all done, but people ask me how is this, about the engineering side of it. But this was done. Of course, my son is the audio engineer, and he mixed this, and he uses Ableton Live. Most people think I'm going to say Pro Tools, but he doesn't. He uses Ableton Live.
Chaotic Radio.
Yeah.
Yes, this is Danny Diaz. They told me to call in.
Hey, Danny.
Oh, my gosh.
You're awake.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Hook us up so we can hear him.
We have Danny Diaz on the phone. Yay.
Dan's trying to hook us up on the phone to where we could hear it. See, that's what my call-in guest yesterday, that's what it sounded like. I could barely hear him, like somebody talking from the other room. It wasn't coming into my headphones.
Well, we'll get it. There we go.
Yeah.
Danny.
Yeah.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I wasn't sure if you'd be up in time. Did you get to hear the tracks?
Yeah. Yes, I've been listening to the show since it came on, and it's really great. Really great.
Oh, thank you.
Danny, I bow down. This is such an incredible recording. And how Joanne just gathered all you people together and just made this magic happen.
It was a love fest, huh, Danny?
Yeah, see, Joanne she's a giant among giants. That's the way I look at her. As I'm sure everybody else does too. But I mean, she is a doer. When she says she's going to do something, she does it.
She does it 110%.
With no budget.
Yeah.
It's amazing how she pulled it off and like told me your story, and I just feel honored that you're calling and talking to us right now.
Well, listen, it's an honor for me to be be able to share my story and everything, and I'm very blessed, really. I mean, and I love everything that she's done for me, and I mean, I would never be able to repay her other than to make her proud of whatever I can do.
Oh,
yes, because it
had to be done.
If Joanne wasn't there, she didn't just like dust off that cassette tape and say, "Hey, let's pull all this together and let it be heard and bring all these incredible other musicians." I mean,
but I mean, you have to understand that Danny's known all these guys since they were kids. We've all known each other and growing up in the same neighborhood, and they love him. So for me to pick up the phone and say, "Guess what I'm doing, and do you want to be part of it?" I mean, literally, like, we had so many people. We couldn't get everybody on it, right? There was so many.
There's too many people. There was about maybe another 20 people that wanted to be on the album, and they were like, "How come you didn't use me?"
And a lot of it, honestly, a lot of it was just had to do with when I had an intern or when I had someone to run the board and timing. So if they couldn't be in, that's when I needed a bass player. That's when I needed, So a lot of it had to do with scheduling. But the good news is that Danny's so popular that we know 2 or 3 of everybody get somebody in during those time slots.
Are you available today to record? Yes, I am.
I mean, that's really how we did it, pretty much. But I mean, the pool of talent that we have in Southern California is just amazing. We did this thing. Danny, tell them about the cigar box.
Oh, this is to show you the genius of Joanne, which I'm very proud to say is my producer. She put the idea into the heads of the guys to do Johnny Be Good, but instead of traditionally playing it the way everybody does it, including myself, she said, "Why don't you try it in a kind of a bayou style?" And
yes,
John Avila has this fantastic instrument called a cigar box, and it sounds kind of like a cross between a mandolin and a banjo. And
is this the 4 string? Is it the 4 strings, Danny?
It's got what 4 or 5 strings on it, I think.
Yeah, he has 2 or 3 of them. They're made by a guy named Kurt Schoen who carves these by hand. They're brilliant.
So do you tune? How do you tune them, Danny?
Well, I don't know that you'd have to ask John Avila. He's the one that played it.
He's still figuring it out too. He goes, "I don't know a lot about this, but except that I love how it sounds." So we did this cool version of Johnny Be Good, and at the end we did like this sort of swamping. So Georgia Satellites, that the whole rhythm of that song, it's kind of got that swampy vibe. And so we kind of did it that way with a cigar box. And
that's good. That's something that's never been done.
No. So I would play it, but I haven't licensed it yet.
Yeah.
I have to be legal. But I have a couple other more from the recording sessions. But what did you like most about the sessions, Danny?
Oh, the sessions that we did were all scheduled, and they were all done at Joanne's studio, and everything went like clockwork. I mean, the thing is, like, she's so organized, and she doesn't let anything slip by her. In other words, and that's why the quality of whatever you've heard thus far is a direct result of her genius, and that's why I'm very honored, like I said, to have her to do my music, because of her, my music is being heard all over the world, really.
Dan, Jeff, don't you think it needed to be heard?
Yes, it needs to be heard.
I felt that way.
That was something. I mean, you're a mentor to all these other musicians.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Danny, I'm sorry, I'm on mute.
Yeah. And then the one of the biggest thrills that I got was in 2016 in the International Blues Challenge in Memphis. One of my students, Primo Joey Delgado, won the Albert King Award
for blues guitar.
And
wow.
Not only as the best guitarist for 2016, competing against 250 other groups.
Oh God, that's a lot. That's amazing. I mean, it takes a lot of balls to come up and play this.
From one of his former students being a phenomenal world-renowned blues to someone like Louis Reese, who did Fanatic from Felony. I mean, these are the people. And I remember when I interviewed Johnny Thompson about doing this record in this documentary, Johnny Thompson was saying the thing about Danny Diaz is, and Danny will testify to this, is when students came in and they're learning their first guitar, a lot of them come in, they want to play what's on the radio. You know, they want to play Inagata DeVito. They want to play Back. But what Danny was giving them was bebop and jazz and, Miles Davis and, some of these other things that made him as good as he was, good enough to be that teacher.
Yeah, I didn't know who Joe Pass was till my guitar teacher, who was giving me lessons, and I wanted to learn rock, and he was a jazz guitar player.
That name kept coming up in all the sessions. Danny's like, I wanted to sound, like Joe Pass. I wanted to sound like Joe Pass.
Isn't that strange?
I was constantly pulling up his songs on the internet, and looking it up. Right, Danny?
Yeah. I my influences in music have come from all genres, foremost jazz and blues. But in the jazz vein, certainly, like I said, Joe Pass, Barney Kessel, Pat Martino, George Benson, and then along the blues lines, like what is it? Robin Ford, Larry Carlton, people like this, that are so vastly, can play anything and can read anything. They're just phenomenal players.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky. And Danny, what was the name of your first band that you toured with before you started giving lessons?
Let's see. Well, this is kind of funny. I was on the road with a gentleman who had a show called Zip It, Morton Downey Jr.
Oh, I remember. I love that.
we toured throughout the United States, and then the second tour we went to Canada.
Which band was that?
Alberta, and Edmonton, and it was a really a fun thing. But it was a show. Kind of, it was tapered. It was tapered like to be like a Las Vegas show. We had two beautiful female vocalists that were really dynamite. We had a full band, and Jimmy Espinosa, who was the leader of the Midnighters, was the conductor, and I was the guitarist. And we'd get together and rehearse and get everything ready for Morton Downey. And he's the famous. His father is Morton Downey Sr., the famous Irish tenor who made famous Danny Boy. Oh, Danny Boy, that.
Wow, that's I didn't know that was part of the Downey Jr. family.
Danny,
his father was a famous Irish tenor. That did that.
I was telling the audience, Danny, I was telling the audience that you got to open up for the Grateful Dead and Vanilla Fudge.
Oh, okay, yeah, that group, that was a 3-piece group called the General Store.
I could never remember that name.
The General Store. I like that.
Yeah, and it was made up of a gentleman on bass, Martin Cole, who's, I'm sorry to say, has passed on, but anyway, he was the leader, Martin Cole, and it was Andy Sandos on drums and myself on guitar, and we did the 3-piece type thing, the Cream, Jimi Hendrix, and we got booked.
Oh, Danny,
we started out at fraternity parties. Yeah,
Danny, you can throw down on Jimi Hendrix and Cream. You got to see this guy play rock and roll. I mean, true to its form, 1970 style.
Danny, I got a question. Is it possible for me to, if Joanne brings me, I would like to have a guitar lesson. Can I come? Can I spend an hour with you and get and teach me? I need to step up my game.
Don't forget to add my 15% tip, Danny.
Yes. I'll tip you, Joanne, whatever you want.
You know what? I would be honored, and I'll tell you, Joanne will tell you herself. I'm the kind of teacher that I go out calling people that I used to know. Please come down. I've got so much inside me that I want to share with everybody. Yeah. But
I get,
yeah.
I get stuck. I need to up my game. I just show me some blues licks, some trills and thrills, and help me untangle all this spaghetti I got going on my head and my fingers. You know.
Sure. I'd be happy to do it, and I can tell you that I can show you a lot of things that got me going, which was John Mayall and the Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton, Peter Green, Mick Taylor, Leslie West from Mountain.
Leslie West, I like that. Mississippi Queen, yeah. I love that song.
Yeah, and then of course you got Stevie Ray Vaughan, Joe Bonamassa. Fabulous. And so I cover all those genres. Unfortunately, the only thing I can't, and I'm saying this on live radio, I'm not a two-hand touch guitarist. In other words, like Van Halen and all that. I can do a little hammering on the top of the string, but I'm not. I don't do that two-hand touch thing.
He's a jazz guy.
Flat pick. I'm a flat picker.
He's not going to teach you.
Yeah, I just want some basic. Yeah. I just want to get that groove going.
He's got to play that tennis racket.
Dan was just saying, bring my tennis racket. I'll have to bring my tennis racket guitar I built. I built this out of I went to a thrift store and I found a John McEnroe Davis Cup racket, and I laminated it on mahogany, and I made a single pickup guitar out of recycled parts, and it ended up being in the September issue, a full page in Guitar World magazine.
Oh, that's great!
Wow. So, Danny,
it would be a privilege and honor to have you play this guitar.
Well, listen, like I said, like what you just asked me, you have an open invitation anytime. Joanne will give you, my number and everything. You're more than welcome, and I'll be happy to teach you whatever you want to know, whatever I can show you. I'll be.
Oh man, this is a true blessing.
Well, listen, Danny, who's phenomenal, and of course he gets asked for lessons all the time. I built him a website. It's DannyDiazGuitar.com.
That's simple. That's so simple. Yeah. DannyDiazGuitar.com.
You can find out more about the record, about lessons, about where he's gigging. Yeah, all that kind of stuff, as long as I keep up with it. Dan, just for my memory, could you write that down for me right now? Producer Dan, write down DannyDiazGuitar.com.
Yeah. Listen, I've got an exclusive thing. If you don't mind me mentioning this, this Friday at the Rose, Pasadena. I'm playing with Jumping Jack Benny, and we're opening for the Motels.
Oh my gosh! Davis. Oh, the old Martha Davis. Oh, I love her.
Yeah. I'll be there this Friday, with Jumping Jack Benny Band playing with the opening for the Motel.
I told you he gets around.
Let's go to the Rose. I've wanted to go to that venue. This is a good excuse to go.
It's a very cool venue, and Jumping Jack Benny is known in Southern California, and he's a phenomenal musician, blues guy, plays tambourine, but he doesn't just play tambourine. You know those baton twirlers?
Yes.
He can outdo them with the tambourine, and he does
two tambourines.
He does two tambourines and the splits and the whole thing.
Oh, you're kidding me! Oh my God! So it's not. It's fun to watch as well as listen.
Oh yeah.
So he's multitasking.
Yeah, and of course Danny's performance and his solos are always jaw dropping too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Danny, for calling in. We're going to play maybe another song if we have time for it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We've got another 20 minutes.
Yay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna get off the line now, but thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very excited about what's happening, and we'll just see how
don't you love the Jeffrey Sargent show?
Yeah, oh, this is great.
Because it's freeform.
My friends about this too. I will.
We don't have to go to commercial.
It's freeform. We were looking for a few sponsors. I got a sponsor I got to go collect from. Pay the rent.
All right.
But
listen, God bless you all. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Hey, I'll see you Friday then.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll see you Friday. I ain't gonna miss that, brother.
All right. You got it.
All right, thank you.
What other songs?
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks for calling in.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
So we got a couple other songs. We have Pomona Groove, That Cool Feeling. That Cool Feeling has an upright bass. That's Johnny Vato's son on that. And he's playing the bow with it. He came in. He's another.
Whoa! He's playing the upright bass with a bow.
And he's got it. That's what producers do.
I didn't know that was allowed.
Yes. And
is that breaking the rules or what?
I don't know if you know this, but you know his dad, right? Johnny Vatos Hernandez, right?
Yeah.
We grew up together, but his history. See, I'm the walking historian of all the musicians locally.
Yes, you are.
Did you know that he was like the house drummer for, I think it was the Midnight Special, and he was the drummer for Helen Reddy.
Oh my gosh! Thank you, Dan.
This is pre Oingo Boingo.
Now I heard it when it was Mystic Nights of Oingo Boingo. That goes way back into the early 70s.
And that was prior to adding John Avila when it got really, really good. Yeah.
Now that's when was it Danny Elfman there from the beginning? Did he start that?
That's him. That's him. Yeah.
And like you said, he does scores. We talked about that between
many scores.
Scores and composing. It was like a visual. It was kind of like
started with.
It was a point. The Mystic Knights were a performance group, right?
Kind of like I didn't see it, but I felt like it was maybe like a cabaret. Not too far. I mean, Oingo Boingo is the same thing. Very theatrical.
Yeah. So it was because I started hearing about them before everybody got signed, and it was like 78, 79.
Yeah.
I think
John Hernandez's son, Freddie Hernandez, who went to Cal State Northridge, they have great music industry studies program, and he reads classical music, and I know he plays in orchestras. I know he's even played with John Williams. So
John Williams,
yeah,
that plays the soundtrack for Star Wars.
This is a slower song. We didn't know what to name it, but if you hear it, I think it's called That Cool Feeling.
Oh, okay, That Cool Feeling, playing an upright bass with a bow.
I believe this is a track, if my memory.
Let me see if I can tell the difference between playing a bass with your fingers or a bow. Okay, here we go.
Hopefully you'll get a cool feeling.
I'm getting this cool feeling, Joanne. I get a cool feeling whenever you're in my presence. Ah, Joanne.
It kind of reminds me of Charlie Brown. Walking down the street.
Wait, that sound. What is that?
That's Danny Diaz.
That's a guitar?
Yes.
How do you get that sound?
From the amp. Which, when we recorded Danny, he never went in direct in. We mic'd him up to.
You recorded off the amplifier.
Yes.
I love it. I'd rather have it
old
that
school.
way. That's the way I like it.
Yeah. Well, you say that now, but when you're producer, it's a lot of work.
Okay.
I need some candles in here.
Hey, what are you doing in there? Why are the lights off in there? But you can kind of hear the bass, but he does have like a little solo. And I'm pretty sure this is Johnny Vatos on drums on this track. And they came in at different times, so none of them know what the song's like. So when his son came in to record the bass line, his dad wasn't there. I think they just sort of crossed paths.
I was lucky to see Danny Vatos play, Johnny Vatos play at the Hip Kitty before they closed down.
Oh, I missed that place.
Oingo Boingo was the first band I saw back in 1984.
Only a lad.
When did you see him?
1984.
That was the perfect timing to see them.
Yeah, Universal Amphitheater.
Now, has he got a little vibrato going on? What kind of amp?
He likes little. We had a
And it's got a lot of sustain on it.
He usually had a Fender. We could ask him when he was on the road, but he usually had we had a Fender amp, and then sometimes we borrow Adrian's amp. So I'm not familiar with which amp.
Has he got some kind of compressor he's playing through?
No. Everything he did through the amp was raw. What you're hearing, all that compression and stuff, that's Ben in the mix. he's got all these
Thank you, Ben
toys.
Frank, for mixing this.
Yeah. I think this is great for a film as well.
You know
Closing
what?
credits.
I could see this in a Quentin Tarantino film.
Yeah. The closing credits.
Closing credits.
I'll take it.
Girl walking down the sidewalk, smoking her cigarette.
Walking down the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Contemplating.
Yeah. This is a great movie ending right here.
You'll notice that a lot of the music I produce, it tends to promote, to evoke emotion because I come from the
It's
film and
evoking
TV
my
sync
emotions
world.
right now, man.
That's what it's
Now I
supposed
want to
do.
get busy and write this script for this film just because I heard this song.
Yeah.
See how that works? It gets my gears going.
Yeah. Beautiful, huh? I want to be like on a lake fishing, you know, really. Yeah, so this is really pretty. But like I said, you know, I've got 7 in this genre, and I've got to figure out how to release the rest.
Yes.
I think I could score with my wife with this song.
I think so,
Yeah.
Dan.
If that doesn't work, try Virago.
Yeah. But just get rid of, don't picture me, you know,
Yeah,
with my,
yeah, you-
our lips are
yeah.
so close.
You lurking around.
Don't look like you're making love to your wife, and then Jeff Sargent's whispering in your ear over your shoulder.
Where's my phone?
Where's my
Yeah,
phone?
you know, when I was talking about the porn industry.
Yeah.
Like, this. Sorry, Danny, close your ears. But you know, when people write in this genre, they like don't want to use their name. I'm like, well, use your porn name.
I'll use my name.
Your porn name, which is the street you grew up on and the name of your first pet. So a lot of times I've licensed music and we'll just change the name so nobody knows who it is, but it fits. And they pay well.
That did it. I'm going to go invest in my keyboards. I got everything else.
Yeah, my porn name would be Independent Lucky.
Oh, I got a good one.
What?
My porn name, this is the street in my first pet, Dixie Sunset.
Oh, yeah. Dixie Sunset. Oh, gosh. Boing. Can you give me the boner sound right there?
Oh, Ben, what a great
Boing. I wanted to grab this guy's. He had a Fostex for $10. He was at a yard sale and got a Tascam 8-channel cassette mixer recorder. Porta Studio. I could be mixing that. I could buy myself a little Moog or an Alesis,
You what?
and I could be making this I could be making this porn music.
So I'm awake now.
Yeah,
Let's play
Joanne.
one that's got a little more pep in it and
So-
a little less sex. Because I'm in. You guys don't see it, but I'm in the studio alone with 2 gentlemen.
Yeah, so
we need to
Jeff,
change
is
the
it-
music because I'm
Jeff, is
feeling a
this
little
a-
threatened with these eyes just looking at me. Yeah, see?
is this the type of music you played when you were making dildos?
Mud pies.
My dildos back in my dildo fact. No, it was industrial. It was a lot of it was production. It was the vacuum form machine. It was the vats. It was the oven. There was a lot of industrial noise there.
We have a song we did called it was just like this cool, like infectious sort of jazzy song. And he didn't know what to name it. I said, well, where did you write it? He said, in my home. I said, well, where do you live? And he says, Pomona. What kind of song is it? He goes, well, it's like a groove kind of song. So the name of the song is
Pomona Groove.
Yeah.
You know what? That sounds like a beer you could get at a No Name Brewery.
But
or
you guys are familiar with downtown Pomona, the arts colony.
I know everybody.
Like
we
this
know.
song is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Isn't that how we met through our arts colony people?
Yes.
Yes.
My sons performed down there a lot.
And
I've
I
done a lot of events down there.
saw.
I
think it
saw
was-
Sublime at the Glass House.
Oh my god!
Like 90 something, early 90 something. Yeah, so that area goes way back. But let's hear Pomona Groove.
Okay.
Let me know what you guys think.
I grew up in Pomona, so yeah, that'd be great.
Yay. All right, well, this will be your theme song. We should play this
That's
every
why-
time.
that's
if you
why-
like it, we'll play it every time you walk in the room. Okay, Dan?
That's why when we went to that, I didn't know. I was coming back from when last Sunday at the art gallery, and I saw everybody I knew that was connected with the arts world, arts colony.
Yeah, they tend to blend.
And I was coming back. I was giving my friend a ride, one of our singers for our Rocky Horror show. We were having a rehearsal, and she's like, go down to Pomona. I go, I need to go talk to Tom Hill at the Community Brains Gallery. And so, oh, I've heard of that. Okay. But she really didn't know him. And then I didn't
Christina
know.
Franco, right? I think that's
her name was
It's all
Adrian.
one word.
Adrian.
Adrian Selena.
Yeah, Selena, yeah. And I'm going, wow, it's like we never connected. I remember she did, so we're just here at band practice doing our songs, and then you were there and everybody else I knew, and like, wow, this is great to reconnect with.
We all know each other, and we won't give out addresses because my students, right, and some people that Hollywood people that I work with, like, what do you do? Where do you hang out? Who's your favorite band? And I'm like, I'm not telling them. I don't want to see you there.
Yeah, I don't
because I'll have to start paying for everything that I get for free right now. All these great musicians.
Yeah.
So let's hear Dan's theme song. This one's called Pomona Groove. Fifi
I see a naked woman.
Fifi on flute and
with the
horn.
morning sunshine going through the see-through curtains.
I forgot about the intro. Thank you, Ben.
In a green bra and panties. What
this,
color do you see?
I see the sun rising over Pomona.
Here comes Dan.
I'm seeing the empty streets.
I'm hearing
Parked cars.
I'm getting this like 70s, like Oscar and Felix kind of vibe,
Yes, yes.
It's kind of playful. I like it.
Yeah.
I kind of see Shaft walking on the street, going to his car.
or talking to his secret snitch.
Yes. I see Huggy Bear.
There you go.
I see Cheech and Chong smoking dope.
Yeah, that too. My friend Mike Albert, who played with Megadeth, did some work on that Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke. Wow. I got so many stories. Yeah. I believe this is Louis Reese on bass for Felony, or it could be my brother, Daniel Ledesma. I don't know. It was one of the two.
Wow.
It sounds like Danny's bass, but then it's got the walk of like Louis Reese, and since they both grew up together, and that's how I know them, it could be one or the other. I have to look at the credits.
Or I could be standing there where that big pit is. Remember when they tore down the building across from the glass house?
Oh yeah, it was yesteryears.
Yesteryears, and watching. Imagine these guys just sitting there on the fence smoking cigarettes, watching the bulldozers knocking down yesteryears. The last place I saw Tommy Castro.
Oh yeah, great! I saw so many great bands there. Doug Otto Brothers. I saw Mountain there, Leslie West.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah. Oh man, the mix, Ben. Wow.
Listen to that.
That's like Dave Gilmour type crap right there.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
He just plays with emotion.
You guys know, not even the guys in the band are performing this have heard this. This is a Jeff Sargent Chaotic Radio exclusive.
This has not been played on the radio till now.
Yeah.
Making its debut.
And Carlos De La Paz is on this. He plays with the Kim Martin Band. Bob Robles, who's with the Midnighters, who's been in a lot of
are these songs going to stay on my computer so I can play them again and again?
Yeah, no. I gotta do all file the paperwork. And
are you still doing your legal thing? You gotta safeguard this stuff.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But I love you so much.
When you're ready, I'm ready.
When it's ready, you can all buy it at DannyDSguitar.com. I mean,
that's what I say. Son, I support everybody's music. All my friends, I'll pay for their record.
My son he did almost all of this gratis, like the mixing and the mastering, and it takes like weeks for him to do one song. I mean, he's that tedious about it. So hopefully we can get him paid someday. Once we get that Grammy. There's Fifi. This is a one take, by the way, on the sax solo.
One take, Dan. This guy is sensational.
These are Danny's friends. They are all like that. And he's the one that played the flute in the intro, too. And these guys walk in, they never heard the songs or the tracks. I kind of sent them a rough track. And remember, they're not playing with a band. They're in a box in a window, looking out a window, trying to get direction and listening to the music through headphones.
No rehearsal?
No rehearsals.
Wow.
No rehearsals. I mean, Adrian Campos and Danny and I had rehearsals on the dry, rough tracks. Isn't that cool?
That was short and sweet, man. That was.
Isn't it cool?
It makes you want more. Oh my
I
God!
think that was Ray Solis.
The song's over. It's not too long. It's just the right timing.
Yeah, and for someone like me who comes from a punk rock type background, I dig smooth, close, jazz.
It's well done, don't you
just,
think?
Yeah,
That was
well done.
like I could go anywhere in Pomona and
That would work.
feel that groove.
Yeah, right.
I could go on any street, any alley, and I'll feel safe, man. I'll be cool, man. Somebody will come up, hey, you got a light? And I'll pull out a book of matches, light this cigarette, and keep walking.
And there's,
and
just so you know, so my son mixed in these tracks, but he's a punk rocker, and I have one of his tracks that he did, so you can hear what he sounds like. This guy's a multiple genre kid.
Well, that's why I've got to get him, because I want him to produce my old song, the record I put back in '81. Is it on your flash drive?
Yeah, we've got
flash disk.
About 4 minutes.
I want Ben Frank to produce my new songs. What's it labeled at? Do you remember? We've got, this will probably be our last song. We've got.
Yeah, we only got a few minutes left.
So I just licensed this song to a punk rock album, but just to give you the variety of
Is this Drix?
what I do. This is Drix, aka Ben Frank, and this is his band No Heroes, and this song is called Life as We Know It. So he mixed and mastered this one, and he did the Danny Dia stuff.
I like this guy.
Anyways, that is
yeah.
So that's the kid, the super kid, who does dubstep for Power Rangers. He's in a
This is my
band.
this is my Power Ranger buddy.
It actually, he's really his music is really a lot harder than this, and his music is a lot harder and a lot more punk rock. But what he did is when I said, okay, when you record your music, you can go as hard as you want. You can do GBH, you can do Sex Pistols, but just give me one commercial pop radio, Green Day type AAA song that I get on radio, and then everybody will hear the rest of your song. So if you want a tip for
genius,
breaking up. So there you go.
This amazes me how, like, I would think that your parents were like you were a daughter of a musician, or from and like how you just absorbed this. You are music.
It's a soundtrack to my life, which is why I do soundtracks.
And produce all of a sudden, music is in the blood as soon as you were born, and I don't know where.
That's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
Aunts, uncles, cousins, where are they? How did that?
I'll come back. I did.
How did that gene of music get into your system? And
that's going to be a whole nother show because we got to wrap it up here. Joanne, thank you for making the time.
Oh,
fly.
it's a pleasure. I loved
I really
co-hosting.
appreciate
Joanne,
I could get a few
thank
more
you
words
for
in.
saving my show because, if it just down by ourselves, we sit there and twiddle our thumb. What are we going to do, Dan?
We'll play polka music.
And if you'd like
Yeah.
to thank me for saving the show, you
Yes.
can visit ledesmamusic.com.
LeDesmamusic.com, everybody.
All right, thank you everyone for tuning in. This is going to bring an end to the Jeffrey Sargent Show.
Oh.
The Jeff Sargent Show. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you, Dan.
Now I got to go to work. Well, it's really not work. I'm done with my work, my task. I have to work on my boss's Halloween costume.
Still, geez.
He's making the armor from the Fury Road, the guy with the gas mask and the
we're
long
down to
hair.
5 seconds.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
So long. Farewell. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.
All right, we're done. Good show, guys.
Yeah, it goes by really fast, huh?